Thank you for getting quiet. Good morning, class. My name is Mrs. Pate. Today's lesson is called Percentage M&Ms. Now, who likes M&Ms? Lots of you? Yeah. Well, really, who doesn't? Which is why this lesson is going to be awesome today. Because what lesson about M&Ms wouldn't be awesome, right? Okay, so now before we start, we just need to learn some important terms, just that way we can keep them in mind throughout the lesson. Today we're going to learn about percent. Does anybody know what a percent is? Yes. Okay. It's close. What it means, the literal meaning of percent is per 100. Okay? Let's make sure that we keep that in mind throughout the lesson today. Now, everyone should have grabbed a piece of paper by the front door, which I told you how to pick up on your way in. This is the steps that we're going to use to solve all our problems we're going to talk about today. So go ahead and grab that paper. We're going to read through them together really quick. Okay, who can read number 1 for me? Yes, you. Great. Read the math problem. I cannot stress how important it is to read the math problem. If you don't read the entire problem, you might miss important information and you will get the question incorrect. Next. Great, good job. Circle all of the numbers in the math problem. You will see in our math problem today what it means when I say circle all of the numbers. We'll practice plenty of times. You'll be good to go. Okay, number 3. Yes, you. Great. Okay, so we're going to take the first number in the problem and place it over the second number in the problem that we read and circled. Great. Number 4, it's very similar. Find the second set of numbers and place the first one on top of the other one to create a second fraction. So after step 4, you should have 2 fractions, one usually with an x holding the value of a number that isn't there, which is what we're trying to find. Great. Number 5. Yes, right here. Great, good job. We're going to make the 2 fractions equal to each other, as in a over b equals c over d, such as, that makes sense? Yeah, pretty simple. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to make an x with the arrows. So we're going to make an x with arrows. Simple enough. Now we're going to multiply the 2 numbers that are attached by the arrows. So based off of this, what 2, well in this case they're letters, what 2 letters would we multiply? Yes. Okay, so you think we'll multiply A and D and B and C? Why do you think that? Because they share the same arrow. Great, yep, you're correct. It's going to be A times D equals B times C. Great job. Alright, who wants to read the next step for us? I believe it is step number 8. Divide so x doesn't have a number by it anymore. Great, okay, so in this case, to make this make sense, we're going to change d to x, which means d over here is going to be x. So our total is going to be ax equals bc. Does that make sense to everyone? Does everyone follow along? Great. So what, based off of step 8, are we going to do to get x by itself? Yes. Great. We're going to divide both sides by a, because there's a little rule that what you do to one side of an equation, you must do to the other side. That way it will still be equal. Great. So in the answer, x equals b c over a. We can't divide out because you can't divide letters by letters. Alright, and who wants to read number 9 for me, the last step? Great. This has to be the easiest step. You draw a box around your answer. It's very important to do step 9 because I see all of this work. How do I know right away that this is your answer? But if I see a box, I'm like, oh, there's your answer. Right? Alright, does anybody have any questions so far? No? Okay, are you all ready to do an example? Great. Alright, make sure that y'all have that scratch sheet of paper out on your desk with a pencil. Okay, now, here's the first problem. It says, Stephanie walked into a candy store and bought a bag of M&Ms. Right? After 1 hour, Stephanie had eaten 10 out of the 25 M&Ms that came in the bag. What percentage of candy has Stephanie eaten? Okay, so now that we've read the problem, let's find the 4 numbers that we're looking for. What's the first set of numbers? Yes. 10 and 25? Okay, great. So we have 10 and 25. Now, which of those numbers came first in the problem? The 10? Okay. So, what's our fraction going to be? Okay, does everybody see how we got that? Any questions? Okay, great. Now, let's try to find the second fraction. Does anybody see the next set of numbers? Yeah, me neither, because there's not more numbers. Our key word to look at in this problem is percentage. When we think of percentage, we're going to think of per 100. So we're trying to figure out if she has eaten 10 out of the 25 M&Ms, what percent of 100 M&Ms has Stephanie eaten? So is our X going to be on top or is it going to be on bottom? Yes. Great, it's going to be on top. And what's going to be on the bottom? Yes. 100, very good. How did you get that? Because when talking about percent, we're talking about per 100. So per 100, what is the percentage? Great job. A little rule to always know is that whenever you're working with percentage, it's going to be whatever percent over 100. Always, always, always going to be over 100 unless otherwise specified. Okay? Great. Now, does anybody know the next step? Yes, great job. We're going to make them equal to each other. And then, what did we do after that up here? We made our X arrow. Great job. Okay, so what numbers are we going to multiply together? Yes. Okay, you say 25 times X equals 10 times 100. Does anybody disagree? Great, yeah, she's correct. Okay, so we're going to do 25x times, or equals 10 times 100. So what does 25 times x equal? Simple, 25x. And what does 10 times 100 equal? 1,000. Great. Okay, what's the next step? Exactly, we're going to make x by itself. Good job. So we're going to divide both sides by 25. Anybody remember why we do that? Because what you do to one side, you must do to the other. Good job. Okay, so what's 1,000 divided by 25? Good job. 40. And what is the last but most important step? Right. Box the answer. Now, are we going to circle just 40? Does that answer our question? Because we're trying to figure out what percentage of the candy has Stephanie eaten. Right, we need a percent sign. But for the sake of us knowing what we're talking about, I'm going to ask that y'all write out a sentence, a complete sentence for me. So we're going to write okay. We're going to write. Anybody want to read that for me? Yes. Great. Yep. Stephanie has eaten 40% of the M&Ms. All right. Let's try one more example. Since we're, one's not enough, we need to make sure that everyone's on board. It reads, Randall bought a box of M&Ms from the candy store. When he bought the candy, there were 30 M&Ms. If Randall has eaten 8 M&Ms, what percentage of the candy has Randall eaten? Okay, so what's our next step? Circle the numbers. Alright, so what numbers do you see? Exactly, there's a 30. What else? 8. And right, there's no more numbers, but what word do we see? Percentage. We are looking for percentage, which automatically tells us that that fraction is going to be what? Great. X over 100. Y'all are so smart. Okay, so what's the first pair of numbers? 30 and 8. Great. Now, which number comes first? 30. Now, trick question. Are we going to put 30 on top or bottom? Yes, you say bottom. Why? Because in number 1, put the first number on top. Great! Good answer. Because remember, class, when we learned about fractions, what is a fraction? Right. Part over whole. Y'all remember that? Yes, so that means we're going to put part of it over the whole, which makes the fraction what in this problem? Good job, Eric. 8 over 30. Okay. Next step, equal. Next step, arrow X. So smart. Next step, multiply. What do we multiply? Can somebody read me my equation? Yes. Okay. 30x equals 800. Very good. Alright, so now what's the next step? We're going to divide both sides by 30, because what we do to one, good job, we must do to the other. So what does x equal? 27. So is that my answer? No, remember? Mrs. Pate wants us to write a sentence. Okay. So, Grandpa's eaten 27% of the M&Ms. Does anybody disagree? Is anybody lost? Is everyone feeling comfortable? Alright, let's do one more, okay, together, and then we'll work on some by ourselves. Okay. Terry loves M&Ms. She went to the candy store and bought a big box of M&Ms. If Terry, the box has 100 M&Ms. If Terry ate 45 M&Ms, what percentage of the M&Ms did she eat? Circle your numbers. Great. Okay. Does anybody have the first fraction yet? Robert, you've been really quiet today. What is the fraction that you came up with? What's the first set of numbers? Good job. 45 over 100. How did you get that fraction? Good. Yes, you're absolutely right. Terry ate 45 M&Ms, and there were 100 to begin with. Great. Okay, who has the second fraction? Michael. X over 100. How did you get that? I didn't see an X or a 100 in the question. Great, because we're looking for percentage. Now, do I multiply these fractions or add them? I set them equal. Okay, great. What's next? Lily, I haven't heard you talk today. What's next? Good job. Arrow X. Ashley, can you read me my fraction? 100x equals 45 times 100. Good job. Does everyone have that? Great. Kelly, what is my next step? That's my next step? What did she forget, Christian? Yes, you forgot to multiply. So it's 4500. Let's scratch this out. And then you divide that by 100. Okay, so who has the answer? Yes. X equals what? 45. Okay, good job. So, what am I going to pick on? Rico. Why don't you give me my sentence? Yes. Terry has eaten 45% of her M&Ms. Now, does somebody notice something about this answer along with the rest of these numbers? It's 45 over 100 and 45 over 100. So, what does that prove about our definition earlier of percent? What was our definition? Per 100. Great, so it proves that per 100, the 45 is 45%. Did everyone get that? Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to write out a problem for you. I want you to do it by yourself, and then in about 5 minutes we'll come back together, okay? No talking. Y'all writing this down? Great. Hey, no talking, guys, please. Thank you. Alright, make sure that you follow the steps on the sheet of paper that I gave you. And if you need some reference, remember I have this problem up here, and the other sheet I have laid in the middle of the floor for y'all to look at, just in case you need a little bit of help. So about 1 more minute. Okay, let's come back together. Okay, this problem reads, Chris walked into the candy store. He bought a box of M&Ms. If he has eaten 25 of the 40 M&Ms, what percentage of the candy has Chris eaten? Now, I'm going to read the problem one more time. Every time I come across something that I need to circle, I want everyone to raise their hand. Okay? Great. Chris walked into the candy store. He bought a box of M&Ms. If he has eaten 20, okay, he has eaten 25, good job, of the 40, right, good job again, M&Ms, what percentage, oh, good job, guys, you are so smart, of the candy has Chris eaten? Does anybody have my first fraction? Carrie? And who has my next fraction? X over 100. How did you get that? Exactly. Okay, Julian, what did you do next? Arrow cross. And then what, Julian? Okay. Amber, can you finish this out? What does X equal? Good job. 56. And hold on. Let's see. Who do I think doesn't have the answer? Alan. What's my sentence? Great, good job. Okay, so the remainder of the class, I'm going to give y'all 2 more problems to work. Be very quiet, and in about 10 minutes, because we have about 15 minutes left, in 10 minutes we'll come back, review our answers, and we'll get ready to go, okay? No talking. Guys, I said no talking. Alright, y'all are taking time. 8 more minutes. You gotta get these copies down. You'll do it, okay? Alright, looks like everyone's about finished. Let's go ahead and read our first problem. Ashley, it's only appropriate that you read it for us. Go ahead and read it. Now, before you start, whenever you hear a number or something that Ashley says circle, raise your hand again. Don't shout. Okay, go ahead, Ashley. Good job. Keep going. Great. Good job. Go ahead and finish for us. Okay, great. Now, we have our two sets of numbers. This, of course, we know what it equals. So, what are my two fractions? Yes. Hey, Eric, what do I do with this? Right. It's going to equal. Okay. Alan, what's next? And then what? Great. Okay. So, anybody? The answer? Great. Okay. And Michael, give me my sentence, please. I'm going to write it up here because I didn't leave Mrs. Page enough room. Good job. Great job, guys. Anybody have any questions? Did somebody get a different answer? No? Good. Good job. All right. Let's do the last problem and then we'll get our homework. Okay. This one reads, Robert bought a jumbo box of M&Ms. Remember to stop me when you see something I need to highlight. He has 200 in the box. If Robert eats 23 of the M&Ms, what percentage, good job, did he eat? Okay, so who has my two fractions? Christian. Okay, so you say 23 over 200. Now why? Because this one came first before that one. Great, remember our rule, part over whole. Excellent. And you were saying, okay. Okay. I'm going to put Lily. What next? Arrow X. And that's going to be equals. Okay, multiply it out for me, Lily. Okay, Michael, what's next? Okay. Has everyone got that so far? Any questions? No? Okay. Let's see. Kara, can you finish it off for me? X equals 12. Alright, Kara, what's that sentence that I'm going to write? Good job. Any questions on that one? Great. Does everyone feel pretty comfortable? These are similar to your homework problems, so hopefully speak now or forever hold your peace. Right. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and write down your homework on the board, copy it in your planner. Okay. I don't want any excuses of why it's not done tomorrow. Okay. For the homework, on page 351, what you do, number 1A, 1B. Are you writing it down? Okay. 1I, 1J, and number 3. 5 problems, less than what we did in class today, right? Okay. I'll give you a minute to finish writing that. Looks like everyone's done. Okay, great. Now, what did we learn about today? Percentage. And what does percentage mean? Per 100. Okay, so can anybody read me, or can anybody state without looking at the sheet, what's the first step that we do when we have a word problem in front of us? Read the problem. What's the next step? Circle the numbers. Great. Next. You make your first fraction. Great. Second fraction. You're so smart. Next. Make them equal. X arrow. Multiply. Put x by itself by dividing by both sides. Box the answer. And what's your answer? A sentence. Great. You look so smart. Okay, so what do we use percentages for? It's easy to find important numbers, right? Great. Okay, now, tomorrow we're going to learn about the features of three-dimensional objects. We're totally taking a different turn. We'll leave a percentage behind. We'll review it later. We're going to dive into shapes, okay, with the three-dimensional objects. Go ahead and put your desks back in the row and pack up your bags, and you'll have a great day. Thank you for being helpful. If you have any questions, come see me. There's silver papers up here, as well as this one. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.